This is a public service announcement for explorers of the Hollow. Don't wander into the Aether, or it'll drag you down. This is a shake and bake preview, by the way. Do you remember / did you play The Flame in the Flood? It was indie game studio the Molasses Flood's first game release back in 2016. It was a slick, roguelite adventure game that looked really good, had a great soundtrack, and was equal parts fun and harsh. Well, now this talented team is bringing you a new game, and it's called Drake Hollow. I've been lucky enough to try the beta recently, so here's a preview. In Drake Hollow, you play as a fresh-faced boy or girl who have been summoned to a dark and dangerous world by a mysterious crow. Don't worry, Disney hasn't designed these crows. This mysterious crow has tasked you with helping the Drakes. No, not that Drake. By building up a village for them, tending to their needs, and also protecting them from the various mobs that wish to cause them harm. On first glance, this game looks very Fortnite in style. That's probably because it's made with the Unreal Engine 4. Now, I'm not a fan of comparing games to other games, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And it's kind of hard not to. As I said, the game's stylings is very similar to the original Fortnite. The assets in some places are near identical, from the cars, the shopping trolleys, the oversized weapons, even the way the objects wriggle as you smash them. I guess this style hasn't exactly done badly for Epic Games, right? So why not borrow a few aesthetics here and there? Also, it goes without saying that Fortnite don't have the monopoly on this kind of look, and they're not the only game to do it. But I thought it would be remiss of me if I didn't mention it. The gameplay in Drake Hollow is very fun. You explore around, smash up various objects like trees, cars, boxes, all to get all important resources. These resources are then used to craft items, which you can place in your village, or you can directly use them to meet your Drake's needs. The Hollow itself was once a pretty place, but is now shrouded in ether, a dangerous and deadly fog. If you wander into it, it will drag you down and you'll be consumed within seconds. Scary stuff for something quite cartoony. You'll also encounter numerous shadowy monsters around the environments. Each of these monsters has a health bar, a level, and its name displayed above it. These monsters come in all shapes and sizes, from the smaller grunts to the bigger, ominous stalkers. One of the more pesky monsters I fought were the Fangs. These fox-like shadow creatures have an attack that's like a proximity bomb, and it was fairly devastating. Also, the look of these enemies did remind me of Zelda Twilight Princess. Anybody else getting that vibe? You'll also find that each island has an ether level. In order to reduce these ether levels and also wrestle back control of the island, you need to destroy the bramble-like tentacles that have spread across the land. These themselves don't really pose much of a threat to the player, as long as you don't get too close. It would be nice if they maybe spit out spikes at you or post some sort of challenge, but that's just my opinion. As far as weapons go in Drake Hollow, you'll be able to equip a melee weapon. These come in the shape of normal things like axes, all the way up to things like coat stands. The bigger weapons are slower to wield but do put out more damage. Along with the melee item, you'll also be able to equip a ranged weapon. These can be equally as quirky. I picked up a weed sprayer gun at one point, which did actually seem pretty effective at getting rid of the mobs. You'll also find more standard weapons like the blunderbuss or the crossbow. So the variation in weapons does make the gameplay more interesting. In terms of economy in Drake Hollow, the friendly neighborhood crow will exchange shiny items for things you may need, whether that be ammo or building resources. As for the drakes, they are cute little veggie creatures that you'll pluck out of the ground. Each drake has its own unique ability, and they're willing to share this ability with you. At the start of the game at least, you can only have one buff equipped at a time, so it's important to tailor these buffs depending on what you want to do. For example, some of these buffs will increase your damage, whilst others will decrease the amount of rage you get on your villages. Drake Hollow is all about time and resource management. As I just mentioned, your village will get periodically attacked by increasingly difficult and larger raids. There is a timer at the bottom of the screen that does tell you when these raids will occur, so just make sure you haven't wandered too far away or your drakes won't last very long. Having said that, there are items in the game that will let you fast travel back home, so it's worth crafting some of those. Your drakes can be very demanding little critters too. They have three main needs. These are water, food, and entertainment. So as well as ridding the land of monsters, you also need to make sure that your village is stocked up in all three of these areas. You can find juice box or make wells to take care of water. You can find berries or plant seeds to satisfy their hunger needs. And you can craft loads of objects to take care of their entertainment needs, like the yoga ball for example, and there's even a pinball machine you can make. As you bring more drakes into the village and increase each drake's level via crystals, kinda like a Pokemon evolution, so too will your village rating increase. This will allow you to access more varied and interesting crafts craftable items. This game is definitely quirky and to a certain extent unique. Okay, it's an amalgamation of lots of different games, but I think these games work well together. The overall idea of the game is fairly straightforward. Defeat mobs, gather items, keep Drakes happy, but that doesn't stop it being fun and challenging. If you do succumb to the Aether or get struck down by one of the shadowy creatures, you'll respawn back at camp as a ghostly figure. You'll either have the option to resurrect at the cost of weapon durability, or you can spirit walk to your corpse and attempt to drag yourself to safety. This is a quirky little feature, but to be honest, I just accepted the weapon durability hit. If the graphics in Drake Hollow are like Fortnite, then the music definitely reminded me of Minecraft. The plinky plonking of the piano melody definitely conjured memories of blockier times. But what do you think? Even though I said I don't like comparing games to other games, let's throw another one in there, shall we? Jet Set Radio. Now that might sound like a weird comparison, but stick with me on this one. Drake Hollow features a supply chain system where you can, well, chain supplies together and link them back to your camp. This is done through crystal waypoints. When connecting the waypoints together, you create a beam of light. These beam of lights you can grind on for some reason, a la Jet Set Radio? No? You can play Drake Hollow cooperatively as well. I did play the beta solo and I had lots of fun, so I can only imagine bringing friends along for the ride will really increase the fun factor. I'm guessing that the game difficulty will scale with how many people are playing, though I haven't seen that information anywhere, so I could be wrong. At the start of the game, you will get to customize your character and pick your sex. There wasn't a huge choice in the beta, but it's still nice to be able to put your spin on it. And the question is, do you create yourself in the game or the coolest looking character you can? If you're me, they're one and the same. From what I've seen floating around online, Drake Hollow may be coming to Xbox Game Pass, which I think is great news. The game is set to release on July 17th, 2020, so put it in your calendars. The game will feature the campaign mode and a sandbox mode, so it'll be interesting to see what that's like. And that's about all the information we have so far. Does it sound good to you? Are you looking forward to this? Or do you just not care? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you have any feedback on this type of video, then we'd love to hear from you. One final thing whilst I have you there, it would be super awesome if you could hit that like button, and if you haven't already, the subscribe button. We appreciate all the support we get. Until the next video, peoples, take care and peace out.